بيسألنا شو الأخبار. تابعونا كل نهار أربعة الساعة 3.
بس هلا
نحاول نسلط الضوء على أهم المواضيع اللي بتخصنا كلنا بتجرد وموضوعية. برنامج شو الأخبار مع حسين هاشم كل نهار أربعة الساعة 3 على راديو سينا 102.3 FM. تابعونا لتعرفوا شو.
حابب تشتري بيت وعم بتدور على مين يساعدك؟ كنت عامل بانكربسي أو عندك لو كريدت سكور؟ جاي على البلد جديد أو دخلك محدود؟ لا تفكر ولا تحتار، لك المشكلة وإلها حل، خصوصا مع خبير القروض العقارية علي دهيني. خبرة ودقة ومصداقية، وبالنهاية ما بتلاقي إلا قرضك معك ومفتاح بيتك بجيبتك. Top Mortgage Company, you dream it, we achieve it. 313-247-4844 or 243-841-4000.
خايفة على أولادي كتير، بس ليش؟ خايفة بالصيف يطيروا كل شي تعلموه بالشتاء.
ومين قال إنه ما في حل؟ الحل عند Educare Student Services. البرنامج الصيفي ما خلى مشكلة، ساعات تدريس ريدينج رايتنج مات وعربي، نشاطات مختلفة ومسلية، طبخ وفنون وأشغال يدوية، بالإضافة إلى اختبارات علمية وصفوف روبوتكس. وبعدك بتقولي لي خايفة على أولادك؟ يلا شو ناطرة، اتصلي وسجليهن 313-566-3733.
تحياتنا لكم مستمعينا من 102.3 FM ومشاهدينا من واتساب ميديا نتورك على الفيسبوك. معكم حسين هاشم بحلقة جديدة من برنامج واتساب شو الأخبار اللي بيطلع عليكم كل نهار 4 من الساعة 3 للساعة 4 بمواضيع بتهمكم، مواضيع بتفيدكم، وضيوف اختصاصيين ومختصين بهيدا الموضوع. حيلا موضوع نحن نتحدث فيه اليوم. ضيفنا المتجدد هو المحامي حميد دكروب، State Planning and Probate Attorney حميد دكروب من دكروب جروب. بنتحدث اليوم عن طبيعة الأسئلة اللي بيسألها المحامي حميد دكروب لما بيجي لحدا لعنده بده يعمل State Planning. فموضوع كتير مهم بدنا نضطر له اليوم، مواضيع كتير كمان بدنا نفوت فيها أنا وحميد كمان اليوم. تابعوا الحلقة، وإذا عندكم سؤالات على طول فيكم تقولنا، لأن الحلقة مباشرة نحن عم تنعرض على 102.3 FM وعلى واتساب ميديا نتورك على الفيسبوك. رقم التليفون على الاستوديو هو 313-769-6666 313-769-6666 ومن وزر كندا هو 519-256-1023. وكمان عم يحضرونا على الفيسبوك. تحية لكم، شكرا لمتابعتكم، شكرا لدعمكم المستمر لواتساب ميديا نتورك. ماله معروف، حيلا واحد عنده سؤال أو تعليق أو حيلا شيء خاص بموضوعنا، فيكم تتركوا كومنت تحت اللايف ستريم اللي انتم عم تحضرونا صوت وصورة حاليا. وما تنسوا انه تعملوا شير للحلقة لحتى نوصل لاكبر عدد ممكن من العالم. قبل ما نبلش بموضوعنا مع المحامي حميد دكروب، بنحب نتشكر السبونسرز تبع واتساب ميديا نتورك اللي بدونهم اكيد ما فينا نعمل الشغل اللي عم نعمله. المحامي حميد دكروب State Planning and Probate Attorney Applied Modern Health. دكتور مو هزيمي رح يكون له حلقة مباشرة بكرة على حصريا على واتساب ميديا نتورك نهار الخميس على الساعة 7 بالليل 7 مساء مع الدكتور مو هزيمي. رح يتحدث عن خسارة الوزن، ورح يكون معه بعض من الأشخاص اللي استعملوا البروجرام تبعه ورح يحكوا عن الإكسبيرينس تبعهم هن. أكيد كمان بدنا نتشكر إفري فريش ماركت أسواق البلد، حاج حسين محمد موجودين على ناربر تريل، وتوب مورجج كومباني خينا أليكس دهيني. رح يكون معنا نكست ويك كمان بحلقة مباشرة ببرنامج واتساب شو الأخبار لنتحدث عن القروض العقارية. علي في كتير ناس استفادوا منه اوريدي واستفادوا من خبرته، في كتير ناس كانوا فاكرين ما فيهم يحصلوا على لون اوريدي حصلوا على لون، فاحضروا على الحلقة لأنه كتير مهمة. كمان بدنا نقول لكم إنه حيلا واحد بيحب يحضر كأس الأمم الأفريقية بالفوتبول وبالساكر، فيكم تحضروها بالتعليق العربي على بينك سبورتس على سلينج تي في أرابيك. وإذا بتحبوا كمان تجربوها 7 أيام فري، في عرض لنا حصري، بس تواصلوا معنا لنعطيكم اللينك، وفيكم بهيدا اللينك تحصلوا على 7 أيام تحضروا مجانا، وإذا عجبتكم فيكم تعملوا ساين اب. حيلا واحد بيحب يتواصل مع البرنامج بعد الحلقة، فيكم تدقولنا على 313-258-6799 بعد الحلقة مش هلأ. حيلا واحد بيحب يتواصل معنا إذا عنده حيلا فكرة أو حيلا موضوع بيحب يطرحه معنا، أهلا وسهلا فيكم. نحن على طول بنحب إنه نتواصل معكم ونسمع آرائكم وتعليقاتكم والفيدباك تبعكم. حيلا واحد بيحب كمان يعمل ادفرتايزمنت مع واتساب ميديا نتورك، هيدا هو الرقم اللي فيكم تدقوا عليه. حميد أهلا وسهلا فيك.
أهلا فيكم. Thank you for having me.
شو how is it going؟
الحمد لله. How's everything with you؟
هلا كنت عم بقول لك قبل الهوا، بس مبروك على البروبوزل اللي عملته لخطيبتك.
Thank you so much.
فإن شاء الله يوفقكم، و we're looking forward يعني لعرسكم بنوفمبر. إن شاء الله يوفقكم حميد. شو بتحب تقول لمتابعينا قبل ما نبلش بموضوعنا اليوم؟
Just thank you so much for listening. These are very important topics, and then we like to sleep on these topics. We don't like to think that they're very important right now, right away, until it's too late. So the whole point of this entire topic and what I do is to tell people to plan ahead, because if not, then you'll end up in court, and then you'll end up with a big headache, and then you'll end up paying more money.
هذا اكيد اللي بتعمله انت حميد كتير مهم، انه بتاخد من وقتك لحتى توعي الجاليه تبعنا عن هيك مواضيع. It's something that you're doing out of the goodness of your heart. So thank you حميد for doing that stuff.
No, thank you.
حميد، للي حبيجوا لعندك كتير على طول نسألنا انه شو هي السؤالات اللي بتنسأل، how's the process. واليوم بدنا نحاول قد ما فينا انه نشرح للعالم كيف the process تبع الستيت بلانينج. حدا مهتم يعمل ستيت بلانينج كيف بيدقوا لعندك، كيف بيعملوه. بس قبل ما نبلش نحكي بهذا الموضوع بنحب نذكرهم انه كعرض خاص للبرنامج حميد بيعطيه على طول. حيلا واحد بيدق على البرنامج او بيذكر اسم البرنامج واتساب شو الاخبار، بيطلع له فري كونسلتيشن اللي هي مجانا بتدقوا له او بتجوا لعنده على المكتب وبدل ميت وذ يو وبيشوفوا الحاله تبعكم وبيعطوكم رايكم. ما في شيء انه يعني there is no commitment من الكونسلتيشن. والشغله الثانيه بيطلع لكم $100 off any service بس بتذكروا اسم البرنامج. رقم التليفون لعند المحامي حميد دكروب، هيدا الدايركت نمبر هو 313-401-4488. تفضل حميد. انا شخص عم بعمل ستيت بلانينج. I came to your office، جيت لعندك على المكتب. walk me through it.
So of course بدي اتعرف عليك، اتعرف على عائلتك، وبدي اعرف what kind of assets do you have؟ شو الأملاك اللي عندك؟
Okay.
So one of the first things I ask is just the basic questions. I want to know a little bit about you personally. What do you do? And you know, if you're married, what your wife does, how long or how many children do you have, if any? Is this your first or second marriage? All these factors play a big role. People are, you know, oh, it's just a basic introduction. No, but each one of these factors play a big role as to the type of trust that you might come out with. For example, as أنت متجوز مرة ثانية, then if you in your second marriage situation, and you have kids from your first marriage, your estate plan might be different.
من واحد مش مجوز إلا مرة واحدة.
Yes. And with the kids from that same spouse. Or somebody who's divorced is obviously different than somebody who is, for example, single. Now you might be saying, well, hold on, if you're single, you're divorced, or you're divorced, you're single. Correct. But sometimes the people who are divorced want to make sure that the other person's family members never touch anything.
Oh.
So that changes certain things, because then we can make specific requests that certain family members are never allowed, or certain used to be family members are never allowed to touch anything in regards to your estate plan.
Oh,
so
wow.
those are things that play a difference as well too. And obviously if you're divorced, you know, we have to discuss the judgment of divorce as well, and to see who got what assets through the divorce, because that plays a role as well too. And if you're single, then we obviously have to do estate planning, because either are you single and you're planning on having kids, getting married, that might be different than an older individual who is single, who is not planning on having any children and wants to do estate planning. So all these are why I ask some of the questions that I ask, so I can understand the situation and then start in my head planning for that person. Because a lot of times people بيسألوني حميد بس بدي أعمل وصية بس هيك, just a very simple will. So okay, well, let me ask about your situation. And then always a simple never becomes simple. It always becomes a little bit more complicated.
simple.
And then the clients بيقولوا, oh, I never thought of this, or oh, I didn't realize this, or oh, I didn't know this.
بس أكيد بيكون للبنفيت تبع الكلاينت مش يعني أكيد هن بيكونوا في شغلات كتير مش منتبهين أنت من خلال خبرتك انتبه لهيدي الشغلات.
Exactly. And the little things make the big difference in here, right? And then sometimes you have clients who they're receiving government benefits, special needs, right? Maybe they have a disability, such as maybe they're blind, maybe they're deaf, or maybe they are they have some sort of mental incapacity that you have to plan accordingly, because if they're receiving Medicaid, or if they're receiving Social Security, SSI, for example, and then they receive assets right away, they would get disqualified and they would have to stop receiving those benefits, which might hurt them.
Wow.
So you can't do a regular will in that situation. So you have to think about doing special needs trust. So all this is the basic question that I ask right away, just to understand the family situation and the family dynamics, because sometimes, and actually a lot more times than others, in this they have في مشاكل كتير بالعائلة, and they want to make sure that the kids don't get involved with this family member, with that family member, And we have to be very careful how we draw out and plan certain aspects of the estate plan.
تمام.
So بس بدي اتعرف على الشخص وعيلته وأملاكه وبدي أعرف what do they want, what is their goal, why are they here.
مظبوط.
Usually there's a situation that happened. For example, maybe they saw a family member go through probate court and they're like, I don't want to go through probate court. Or they want to make sure that the kids get what they want or what they want to give them, or the spouse gets whatever she or he needs, things like that. So,
هلا أهم شغلة حميد هودي المعلومات كلها بتضليها confidential مش هيك؟
very confidential. A lot of people will tell me, oh, I know your family, this. I'm like, okay, well, I don't. Tell them I say hi. I said, no, you can tell them I say hi. Nobody knows that you're in here. Nobody knows that you even step foot in this building. It's just me.
So كل المعلومات اللي بتعطوها للمحامي حميد دكروب بتضليها معلومات
very confidential.
ما حدا بيعرف حدا، حتى ما حدا بيعرف انه جيتوا لعند حميد، حتى لو قريبينه لحميد انتوا او بتعرفوه او اصحابه. كل المعلومات اللي بتعطوها للمحامي حميد دكروب او من خلال هالكونسلتيشن اللي انتوا عم تعملوها، ما حدا بيعرف بهذه المعلومات الا المحامي وانتوا بس. سو بيسيكلي بدك تتعرف عليه كشخص او عليها هي على العائله، اذا عندهم اولاد، اذا عندهم مجوزين قبل بمره مش مجوزين، عندهم اولاد ما عندهم اولاد، بدك تتعرف على الاملاك تبعهم، لانه من خلال الاملاك تبعهم بتحدد اذا بدهم
different types of
power of attorney ولا بدهم bird lady bird deed.
Yeah, I like how you remember that.
تعلمت. ومن خلال بدك تتعرف كمان على الهدف تبعهم، من ليش هن بدهم يعملوا state plan، شو الهدف تبعهم.
Sometimes, for example, right now I have clients who are coming in and they're going to Hajj. And so they want to make sure
that
exactly. They do estate planning to make sure that they take care of everything before they go on their trip. So then I have to know to do Islamic division of assets and also be able to sustain it under Michigan law as well too. So that way it works both together.
تمام. So أنت بتنتبه على الأشياء الخاصة بالدين.
Yes.
You make sure هودي الأشياء اللي خاصة بالدين تتناسب مع القانون تبع الولاية، لأنه إذا ما بتتناسب مع قانون الولاية دايما قانون الولاية هو اللي بيكون له الكلمة الأعلى.
Exactly.
أكيد بنرجع بنذكركم نحن رقم التليفون بالاستوديو هو 313-258. لا هذا رقمي أنا. بالاستوديو رقم التليفون هو 313-769-6666 313-769-6666. هودي الأرقام عم تمرق عندكم على الشاشة اللي عم يحضرونا على الفيسبوك، فيكم تشوفوها. فرقم التليفون من ديترويت 313-769-6666 ومن وينزر كندا رقم التليفون هو 519-256-1023 519-256-1023. واكيد اللي عم يحضرونا على الفيسبوك شكرا لمتابعتكم. فيكم تتركوا او تدقوا على الارقام اللي عم نعطيكم اياها وكتبنا لكم اياها بالكومنت، او تتركوا كومنت تبعكم او سؤالكم تحت اللايف ستريم. منيح اللي قلنا رقم التليفون دغري، بس قلنا رقم التليفون اجى اتصالين، ففيكم تتركوا الكومنت تبعكم تحت اللايف ستريم، ونحن اكيد بنساله للمحامي حميد دكروب. موضوع كتير مهم عم نتحدث فيه على طول. حميد بيسال مواضيع كتير مهمه، بيحكي عن مواضيع كتير مهمه. عندنا اتصال جاهز. الو مين معنا؟
Yes, this is Ali from Dearborn.
أهلا وسهلا علي.
How are you first?
Hey Ali.
Yes, sir. I got I'm talking about on behalf of my father. He's 92 years old. He has Alzheimer. We've been in this country around 5 years. So is there anything like, do I need to come do like a trust or something to protect him or protect me? Or something like that?
For sure, definitely for you and then for your father as well too. I need to make sure and assess whether he can understand what he's entering into. If, for example, he has Alzheimer's and he's not sure to do a power of attorney to give you access to his records, for example, or to do an estate plan or a trust or a will or anything like that, then what we would have to do is if in order for you to access his bank accounts, in order for you to sell property, in order for you to do anything, you would need to go through probate court to be appointed his guardian, to make his healthcare decisions, and his conservator to make his financial decisions. So all this depends on whether or not he can understand what he's entering into.
Well, he doesn't understand, but on the other side, he has nothing here.
Got it. Oh, well, if he has nothing here, then that's fine. But also, it doesn't mean that you don't need to do a guardianship through the probate court. I'll tell you why. Because what if, God forbid, he ends up in a hospital and something happened to him, right? The hospital staff will look and they'll say, well, is anybody here a power of attorney? And then nobody will say anything. And then they'll say, well, okay, well, we don't want the liability here because it's not guaranteed that you're going to make his decisions for him, especially if there's potential issues within the family. So they'll tell you, Ale, go to court and get guardianship. And you're like, what does that even mean? How do I do that? What is guardian? What does that even do? And then you have to go through the court process. I do both probate and estate planning. So if you end up in probate court, I can help. And if not,
اكيد افضل طريقه
but you definitely need it though, Ali, for
اكيد
yourself.
بعتقد افضل طريقه حميد انه يجي لعندك علي. اكيد بعتقد مش رح تخسر شيء. تعال عند المحامي حميد دكروب، عنده فري كونسلتيشن، روح لعنده اعطيه الوحده عشان يفهم القضيه مزبوط ويقدر يساعدك بالطريقه
Exactly.
المضبوطه.
And Ali, in case you're welcome. Yes, it's 313-401-4488. Again, 313-401-4488. I'm located here in Dearborn in one of the Twin Tower buildings off of Ford and Hubbard area. Southfield and Hubbard.
يا اهلا
God bless you.
الله يخليك الله يخليك. شكرا لاتصالك. اكيد الموضوع اللي حكى عنه مهم كتير. قصة الواحد لما بيصير incapacitated و most likely بيو incapacitated.
Yeah, so he's too late for him to do powers of attorney. So what happens is he has to go to court in order to make a decision on behalf of his father.
Wow.
Yeah.
So لما الواحد بيفوت بشغلات خاصة بالمنتل هيلث، اشياء خاصة بالامراض العقلية مثل الزهايمر، مثل شو هي الامراض العقلية حميد اللي خلص ما عادش بيعتبروا الشخص قادر يعمل قراره.
Well, there's quite a few of them, and you need a doctor's note here that says it. So typically when you go through the probate court process, if you want to be appointed guardian, you want to make sure that you bring some sort of medical documentation with you. That says, for example, this person has schizophrenia, this person has bipolar disorder, unable to manage their own affairs financially or healthcare-wise, or this person has Alzheimer's, this person has dementia, or this person has a PEG tube, this person is going through a healthcare crisis that they can't make their own decisions, or this person is in a coma, this person is needs to have emergency surgery on a part of his body or her body to save them, for example, or there's some sort of infection or anything like that. So there's a lot of ways where you can become incapacitated. It doesn't have to be mentally, it can also be physically as well too.
والله.
Yeah. Exactly.
الشغله اللي لازم يعملوها حميد لحتى يتجنبوا هذا الموضوع هي شو؟
Oh, first we want to sit down and want to make sure that a lot of times we think about what happens after we pass away, right?
Not before.
Exactly. So we think about just that. So everyone says, oh, I want to do a will or I want to do a trust. Well, what happens before you pass away, but you can't make your own decision, just like we're talking right now.
تذكر هديك الآخر مرة لما كنت معي وحكينا عن، قلت لي وقتها هذه الحالة صارت عندك، حكينا عن قصة هذه المرة اللي طلعت بعتقد عندها مشكلة، أخذوها على المستشفى، أنزان المستشفى مش قبلانين يفرجوها على أولادها لأنه ما في power of attorney لأولادها يعطوا medical decision.
Correct. There's no power of attorney. So what happened is that her family had to go to probate court. As a matter of fact, there was another case where this person had a parent and the mom didn't answer any calls or she didn't answer any notifications. So the hospitals petitioned for this individual and appointed, or a social worker petitioned for the individual, appointing a professional company, even though this person has a mother, and then the professional company took over, which only sees the person 4 times a year, and they're the ones who made the decision whether or not this guy's gonna have surgery or not. That's the problem, and you see this now on the news. You've been actually it's been on the news lately, where guardian companies take over and might start making your decisions for your family members. Either maybe you were out of town or anything like that. Why take that risk? And they don't tell you necessarily. Sometimes you don't even know. And then you go into court and it's a big mess, it's a big headache, then it's a fight and it's a problem. So what do? In that situation, you prepare by doing powers of attorney, durable powers of attorney. They're not regular, they're special kind. And then you also prepare by doing estate planning as well too. So you get the whole picture. So as part of the intake questions as well too, then after I go through the basics and I understand what you have or what kind of assets you have, to see whether a trust is necessary or a will is necessary or Lady Bird deed instead of some of the others is necessary, I start asking, okay, لازم خلاص صار لكم شيء، مين بدكم توزعوا الأملاك لمين? And then typically sometimes they would say if they're married, oh, to my spouse, if not to my spouse, then to my kids evenly, let's say.
Okay.
But there are times where you can specify certain things. Oh, I want to give my spouse this much, or I want to give her or him this much, or I want to give my kids this much, things like that.
So فيك تحدد هيدي
For sure.
الشغلات. أكيد بنحب نذكركم رقم التليفون على الاستوديو هو 313-769-6666 ومن وينزر كندا 519-256-1023 أو إذا عم تحضرونا على فيسبوك أو إنستغرام فيكم تتركوا الكويشن تبعكم، سؤالكم أو تعليقكم أو الموضوع اللي بحب تطرحوه ونسأله نحن على المحامي حميد دكروب. انتصار السين yes I vouch for the confidentiality of the information. يعطيكم العافية. ثانك يو حاجة
Thank
اتصال.
you.
اكيد شكرا لكل اللي عم بيحضرونا. حميد يعني قديش how long does it take يعني الكونسلتيشن اول consultation?
So it's typically lasts about an average of about an hour.
About an hour.
Sometimes it could take a little bit more, sometimes it could take a little bit less. It depends, obviously, depending on what you want and depending on me trying to explain everything to everybody, right? So when they come in, they say, okay, Hameed, I just want to do a will. I said, okay, no problem. Well, do you know the difference between a will and trust? No, I don't need a trust. I don't need it. Okay, well, that's fine. But do you know the difference? They're like, no. I said, well, do you know if, God forbid, something happened to you and you had a will and you want to give something to your family members, that your family have to go to court to inherit? Like, why would they have to go to court if there's a will? Because a will has to be probated through the probate court. Meaning that you, after you pass away, God forbid, لازم تاخدوا الوصية على المحكمة والمحكمة بيطلع الوصية and they probate it through the court. Meaning everything that you do becomes public information now. الناس بيعرفوا شو الأملاك اللي عندك أو عندك or how you go through the whole probate court process and procedure, and then you have to hire an attorney and pay them thousands of dollars to help you through this process because you may have wanted to, for example, save a little bit more money up front, but you're paying for it in the long run. And the court takes a percentage of the assets you own through something called an inventory fee.
اوكي عنا اتصال. تفضلوا مين معنا؟
الو مرحبا معك ريحان
يا اهلا وسهلا. من عم تحكينا؟
من دياربورن.
تفضلي المحامي معك يا حميد دكروب.
أهلا.
هاي انا عندي ابن عنده اوتيزم.
Uh-huh.
لكن بدي اسال اذا فينا نعمل كرمال مثلا بالفيوتشر بحال صار معنا شيء نحن او بي.
Of course. Is he receiving government benefits? Is he receiving Medicaid? Is he receiving some sort of benefit through maybe SSI or something? Or
That's Medicaid.
Medicaid? Okay, so if he's receiving benefits, we can for sure help him because in the future he might require more benefits, right? Or more treatment. So what we could do is we set up a special needs trust. The difference between a special needs trust and a regular trust is that a special needs trust, somebody is in charge of managing the money or the finances or any assets for your son on his behalf, and it never goes into his name. As a بتروح باسمه, then he loses Medicaid, because if you have over $2,000 of countable assets, you lose your Medicaid, and we don't want him to inherit money. And in addition, if your son inherits money, إذا بيقبض الأملاك before he turns 18, then you have to go through court in general and be appointed conservator, and then that'll still disqualify him from government benefits, and you still have to go through court. So if you want to avoid court and keep everything private and quiet and yet set him up for the future, نعمل a special needs trust لابنك and make sure that he's taken care of.
اوكي طب في حال مثلا انا او بيو صرنا شيء هلا.
Yes.
ما شفت له تراست او شيء، الاملاك مثلا كيف بتروح؟
أملاك بتروحوا لبعضكم، بس إذا صار شيء لاثنيناتكم القانون بالستيت of Michigan بيقولوا لكم شو كيف رح تتوزع الأملاك. So the kids will get a certain percentage if there's kids, depending on the kids. And the problem is there's no protection. And your kids will end up in court, and somebody is going to be appointed to take care of your kids as a guardian and conservator. Meaning this, حدا رح يكون مسؤول على health care for your kids and the placement decision, meaning where the kids are going to live, where they're going to stay. What if it's somebody that you don't want that takes over? Make sure you do that. You can do that in your estate planning documents by nominating a guardian, nominating a conservator, or doing anything like that to make sure that the right people are going to be the ones to take care of your kids. Or else the state of Michigan picks it for you, or the courts.
اوكي طيب انا وجوزي كمان عندنا لايف انشورنس.
Very good point.
فاذا هو صار له شيء انا باخذ لايف انشورنس، بالعكس كمان هو. بس مثلا اذا اثنيناتنا لو صار شيء انه اللايف انشورنس بتروح للاولاد شيء ولا لا؟
Not automatic. So what you have to do is, number one, contact your agent and ask them who's listed as the contingent beneficiary. So مين رح يكون the backup, right? Let's just say you have your kids there. Okay, great. You have your kids there, which means that it gives it to your kids and avoids court, right? Because it's a beneficiary designation, so your kids will avoid court. Problem is, they'll end up in court if they're under 18 and they receive that money because they're under 18. And anybody who's under 18 who receives over $5,000 of assets has to have a conservator appointed through the probate court. So either way, they're going to end up in court. How do you avoid that? What we do نحن for you is أنا بحط the trust is the beneficiary of your life insurance policy. والtrust بيقول إذا لا سمح الله صار لك شيء بتروح لجوزك، إذا صار شيء لجوزك بتروح لإلك، إذا لا سمح الله صار كل شيء لاثنيناتكم بتروح لأولادكم. Underneath the direction of a trustee who's going to manage it for them, so it avoids the court. You protect your children, and then they receive the assets, and they don't have to deal with the headaches of going through the whole probate court process and have somebody appointed guardian and conservator, and it's protected for them for their future as well too. So
Okay.
in your situation, you would probably, I mean, if you'd like, I can just give you my phone number really quick. You can take it down, and then we'll go ahead and we'll set up a consultation where we'll go over everything in more detail, inshallah.
Okay.
All right? And so it's 313-401-4488. Again, 313-401-4488. And we'll take care of it for you.
شكرا على اتصالك ريهام.
Thank
اهلا
you.
وسهلا فيكم. اكيد
Thank you.
كل اللي عم بيسمعونا بس نتشكركم على متابعتكم لهيدا البرنامج. معلومات كتير مهمه عم بيقدمها المحامي حميد دكروب على طول باطلالاته على برنامج واتساب شو الاخبار. بنحب نذكركم انه حيلا واحد بدق او بيذكر اسم البرنامج بيطلع له فري كونسلتيشن و $100 اوف اني اوف ذا سيرفيسز الموجودين عند المحامي حميد دكروب. رقم التليفون المحامي حميد دكروب هو 313 401 4488 313 401 4488 وموجودين هن ب ديربون المكتب تبعهم. في عندي كم سؤال على الفيسبوك، خليني بس شوف اذا فيني ارجع لهم. خضر عم يسألك if a specially challenged person older than 18 years old, how does estate planning work?
You still want to do a special needs trust. It doesn't matter the age of a special needs individual.
Okay.
They still don't want to have themselves inherit any assets in that respect. So you don't want them to inherit those assets into their names.
طب حتى لو هذا الشخص ما عنده لا بي ولا ام، انه هو بعمره اكثر من 18 سنه بس special needs هي.
And as in
That
like,
he owns.
are the assets or that he owns?
He owns.
Well, I mean, if he owns those assets, then he's fine because he already owns them right now, so he's handling them. So
Okay.
whatever benefits he has, he's working around them, or he doesn't have benefits because he owns certain assets. He still has to do estate planning to see who he wants to give those assets to. مين رح يعطي الأملاك؟ مين رح يكون مسؤول على رح يعطي الأملاك وهيك شيء.
كثير منيح. سؤال تاني since so many of our community members travels overseas in the summer
Yes.
or other times, do you recommend that they do a power of attorney before they leave, and why?
I recommend doing not only the power of attorney but a full estate plan, because the power of attorney only covers you while you're alive. It doesn't cover you when you pass away. It expires when you pass away.
اه والله.
Yes, so only covers you while you're
So
alive.
power of attorney بس انت وعايش.
And then we could do either general, limited, or durable power of attorney. Or we could do general and durable.
شو
Meaning
الفرق
this,
حميد؟
if you do a regular power of attorney, if you become incapacitated, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said like she, and you can't make your own decisions mentally wise,
Okay.
The power of attorney is void, so you cannot use it anymore. So you have to do a...
حتى لو عملته لهذا الباور اوف اتورني قبل ما تصير incapacitated.
Yes, because it's not a durable power of attorney.
Okay.
When you have a durable power of attorney, that one says, listen, before I became incapacitated, I'm appointing Hussein Hashim to make my decisions for me.
Okay.
But even if I become incapacitated, I still want him to continue to make my decisions for me.
Very good.
So there's a general durable, there's a general alone, there's a limited. Now, a lot of times when you go overseas, you want to give maybe your family members limited power of attorney, depending on what kind of family members and what kind of business you have here. Let's just say typically they say, okay, I have to go overseas or I'm traveling, but I'm selling this house and I want them to maintain this house. You can give them a limited power of attorney that says, okay, at the end of the closing, it expires 30 days after closing.
Okay.
So then it automatically
انت
expires.
بتحدد شو بدك وشو
For
هن
sure, and then I ask
الشروط.
it's my job to ask the questions, figure out the situation, and then tell them to advise them. But at the end of the day, the client makes the decision. That they
سامي عم تسألك حميد, how long does it take to finish, سؤال كتير مهم لسامي إذا يمكن بدي أسألك إياه أنا. How long does it take to finish the state planning documents? والبارت الثاني من سؤاله, let's say something happened to me before I finished it.
Great question. So it typically takes a couple weeks because there's a lot of documents, as we'll go into the type of documents. But depending on whether you're going overseas or not going overseas and how quickly you need them, there's always, you can always get them done much sooner than that. It just depends on
بس بشكل عام يعني couple weeks.
Yeah, typically. That's typically because there's a bunch of documents that come in and it's not like just basic filling out forms. I have to customize each estate plan for the person.
طب let's say القسم الثاني من سؤاله, حدا كان عم يعمل estate planning وصار له شيء.
Yeah, well, I mean, then you end up in the court process telling them these were the intents and to see if there was any documents written. That's why you want to get it done as soon as possible so you don't take.
يعني حتى لو كان for example قالت لك أنا هو اللي بدي إياهم وأنت طالب منا document for example, بس already أنت you reported أو you wrote down الشغلات اللي هي
But
كان بدها إياهم.
if she doesn't sign, then it makes things a little bit difficult. However, you can always always end up going to court and say, you know, judge, this is so-and-so case, this is what happened. And at the end of the day, depending on the type of evidence or how far you were into the process.
سؤال كتير مهم.
Yeah, it's very important.
سؤال
Of
كتير
course.
مهم.
Yeah, and this stuff happens. As a matter of fact, one of the common questions that I propose as well is, unfortunately, and this happened, and it's happened recently as well too. Well, what happens if you and your family are in an accident completely together? Who do you want to receive your assets? And this happens. This happens more likely than you think.
Yeah.
So I ask, okay, well, who do you want it to go to? They might say, no, certain family members, maybe the grandparents or stuff. And then there's also another way of saying, well, what if you're alive and then your kids have kids, and one of your kids, God forbid, Allah passes away?
Yeah.
Do you want their share to go to your grandchildren, or do you want their share to redistributed
to the brothers and sisters?
Yeah, be redistributed to the
هيدي
brothers and
كمان
sisters.
مهمة.
Those are all questions that I
لأنه
also
بتصير
ask.
كمان
And it
بيكون
happens, you know.
الأهل بعدهم عايشين لا
Yeah.
سمح الله ولد من الأولاد بيموت، هل يا ترى
Yeah.
هذا الولد اللي عنده أولاد بدكم الأملاك تروح لأولاده ولا بدكم هالأملاك تروح لإخواته؟
Exactly. And so those are all questions that we ask during the whole process, and so those are little things that we ask. And then who's gonna مين حيكون مسؤول على الأولاد? The kids are under 18. Who do you want to make their health care decisions for them?
Yeah.
So that way you have to state somebody. If not, then the government will come in or the courts will come in and they'll make that decision.
Okay.
You don't want that. Also, you know, who's going to be the person to be the trustee? Now, مين حيكون مسؤول على الأملاك ليوزعهم؟ ما في غير الويل، ما في غير الوصية، ما في غير trust هذا person. But what their job is, they're like the administrator. They said, okay, I'm the person in charge of distributing the property according to what the will or the trust says. If they say, if it says 50-50 to these individuals, I have to give 50-50. Even, and yes, you can be a trustee and a beneficiary as well too.
فيك تكون
So you can be trustee and beneficiary. So some people say, okay, it's me and my wife, and then if not my wife, then to our kids. But if something happens to my wife and I, then I want it to be my oldest child first, to be mas'ud, then my second and third, you know, and so on. If you want even more protection, and you want to protect your children from their creditors, meaning if one of your kids is going through a divorce, if one of your kids is maybe not so savvy with money or as responsible, or maybe going through difficult times.
أو إذا حدا من أولادك بيتعاطى, for example.
In certain situations, you want to protect them. So what can you do there? You make sure that child is not the trustee of their own trust. So that way nobody can come in and say, hey, well, you're in charge of your own trust, meaning you have access to it, give us the money. If you put somebody else in charge of it, you know, it could be another family member, it could be an independent trustee as well too, you get more protection. So if they're being sued, if somebody's coming after them, or if they're in an accident, تحميهم ما بيجوا على الأملاك. بس ما فيك تعمل هيك بالوصية، بس بالtrust.
نقطة كتير مهمة. وعندي سؤال عن فيسبوك حياخده بعد شوي. بدنا ناخد بريك. Whenever the break is ready we're gonna take a break. قصير كتير رح يكون البريك. بعد البريك بنكمل الconversation مع المحامي حميد دكروب. بدنا نسأله عن الفينرال بلانينج، عن إذا واحد عنده سوشيال ميديا أكاونت أو إيميل أكاونت شو بيصير لهم بعد ما الواحد يتوفى. إذا واحد بده يعطي أموال من الأموال يتبرع فيهم كمان، أو إذا بده يتبرع بأعضاء من جسمه how it works. فأنا عندي سؤالات كتير لحميد، إن شاء الله بنقدر نلحق قد ما فينا. بريك كتير قصير. بعد البريك بنرجع لكم بحلقة واتساب شو الأخبار.
تسألوا نحن مين؟ موقع شو الأخبار، موقع إخباري ترفيهي مش لحدا لكل حدا. بيشتغل مثل خلية نحل ليغطي أخبار الجاليات بميشيغان والعالم، تقارير إخبارية، برامج حوارية مباشرة، تغطية للمناسبات، برامج منوعة، إعلانات، بالإضافة إلى إعلانات فرص عمل. موقع شو الأخبار، عالمك الصغير الكبير ليوصلك كل شي جديد. تابعونا الآن.
كلمة هي عم بقول لك كيفك كيفك.
الحمد لله الحمد لله.
حابب تشتري بيت وعم بتدور على مين يساعدك؟ كنت عامل بانكربسي أو عندك لو كريدت سكور؟ جاي على البلد جديد أو دخلك محدود؟ لا تفكر ولا تحتار، لك المشكلة وإلها حل، خصوصا مع خبير القروض العقارية علي دهيني. خبرة ودقة ومصداقية، وبالنهاية ما بتلاقي إلا قرضك معك ومفتاح بيتك بجيبتك. Top Mortgage Company, your dream it, we achieve it. 313-247-4844
هل يا ترى المستشفى دغري بس 243-841-4000؟
ما في كتير.
خايفة على أولادي كتير.
بس
هي
ليش؟
بس مساء
خايفة بالصيف يطيروا كل شي تعلموه بالشتاء.
ومين قال إنه ما في حل؟ الحل عند Educare Student Services. البرنامج الصيفي ما خلى مشكلة. ساعات تدريس reading, writing, math وعربي، نشاطات مختلفة ومسلية، طبخ وفنون وأشغال يدوية، بالإضافة إلى اختبارات علمية وروبوتكس. وبعدك بتقولي لي خايفة على أولادك؟ يلا شناطرة اتصلي وسجليهم 313-566-3733.
يلا كنا عم نتحدث نحن بالبريك عن وهب الاعضاء، وهيك موضوع كتير مهم، واكيد هذا بده حلقه لحاله حتى نقدر نوصل له، لانه في كتير شغلات خاصه بهذا الموضوع. فان شاء الله نحن بنحكي فيها للموضوع. قبل ما بدي اخذ السؤال وبدي اخذ شويه كومنتس على الفيسبوك عم يجونا، قبل ما اخذ السؤالات والكومنتس بدي اذكركم حيلا واحد بيحب الساكر والرياضه والفوتبول وهيك وبيحب يحضرهم بالتعليق العربي، في يحضر الكاس الافريقيه اللي هلا بينعرض على بينك سبورت بالتعليق العربي على سلينك تي في Arabic باكج. واذا بتحبوا كمان تجربوها لهيدي الباكج على حساب واتساب ميديا نتورك ل7 ايام ببلاش، فيكم تبعتوا لنا مسج ونحن بنبعتكم اللينك. You can get 7 day for free. فتواصلوا معنا اذا حابين هيدي الشغله. حميد، ريهام عم بتقول لك، ريهام ياسين, thank you for all of the important information you're providing. Thank you for listening ريهام. عندك سؤال, if we do a durable power of attorney can we change it later؟ هيدي السؤال من الفيسبوك يا حميد.
Always.
على طول فيك تغير يعني ما في شيء set in stone.
Exactly, it's not. It's a great question. You can change your trust. If it's a revocable trust, we change it at any time. إذا بدك تغيرها بكرة بعد بكرة فيك تغيرها. You want to amend or revoke your power of attorney, we can do that, no problem.
كتير منيح، سؤال كتير مهم. طيب حميد، حكينا عن البروسس، كيف بيجوا لعندك، كيف الانيشال كونسلتيشن، شو السؤالات اللي انت بتسالها، شو المعلومات اللي بدك اياها، قديش التايم لاين تبع البروسس تقريبا. بدي احكي انا شوي هلا عن قصه انه لما الواحد بيكون على حياته، خصوصا هلا كتير هيدا عم بيعملوا لها دعايات هلا، انه التبرع بالاعضاء. انت شخص في الاكزامبل حاطط على الدرايفر لايسنس تبعك انه انت يو ار اورجان دونر. في منهم بيتبرعوا بيحددوا هن الاعضاء اللي بدهم اياهم، في منهم بيتبرعوا بجسمهم كله. فاهمين كيف؟ طب ليتس سي هيدا الشخص توفى، بدي انا اعمل تو كيسز. هلا بس الشخص يتوفى ومين يعني المستشفى لحالهم هن ببلشوا ياخذوا الاعضاء اللي هو قايل عنه ولا
كيف؟ Well, typically you would want to have this done through a registry. So there's a Michigan Organ Donor Registry online,
okay.
And it's confidential, so nobody knows anything. But unless something does happen to you, what would happen at that point is they would reach out to you and they would talk about your wishes with your family. One of the things that they say to do is you want to maybe inform your family members that you have done this, so that way they're aware of this. And another thing that you can do simultaneously to avoid a situation where there might be a conflict between whether you want to donate them or not donate them between your family members is do a funeral representative designation document. So in addition to the Oregon Donor Registry, or you can get it on your license as well too. If you cut out license,
I think Kelly should
have a license. Yeah, you could get on your license as well too. Then what happens is you select somebody to make your funeral decisions for you, and you can specify that you have a card and then the fact that you want to give certain things to this individual. So that person can be in charge of making your funeral representative designation decisions for you. So that way there's no conflict. If you want to do it, you don't want to do it, your family wants to do it, they don't want to do it. Designate somebody who you know will do it for you, or individuals or family members that will do it for you.
Let's say وأنا بعرف حالات صارت الشاب كان متبرع بأعضائه بعينه بقلبه for example. بس توفى الأهل رفضوا رفض قاطع، إن بتعرف أنت بيقولوا احترام الميت واحترام ما بعرف شو، فرفضوا إنه يتبرعوا الواحد.
Well, then it might end up in probate court.
والله.
Yeah, so that's why I said.
Who sues them? الريجستري يعني هن
not necessarily, but whoever it is that maybe they made certain promises to can bring this up to the courts, and they might have an interest in this,
طب ما بتعرف نحن عنا بياخذوه بيدفنوه دغري.
Yeah.
حتى لو دفنوه.
No. At
that point it's too late.
It's too late. They're for public policy reasons they're not going to dig up a dead body and take.
بس أكيد بنحب نحن هدفنا نوضح لحتى العالم إنه هدف البرنامج التوعية.
This is a very sensitive topic, so that's why to cover your tracks you could do a few things. Put in your power of attorney of healthcare, saying that you want to make a specific gift and you give this person the authority to make that gift for you. Also designate somebody in your funeral representative designation, which comes after you pass away, saying that I want to go ahead and I want to make, I put this person in charge of making my decisions for me. and I specifically say that I want to donate so and so to so and so.
كتير منيح. بعتقد نحن حكينا عنها هيدي قصة الفينرال بلانينج. حتى فيك تنقي وين بدك تندفن، لأنه أوقات في العائلة بدهم يدفنوه هون بأمريكا، في منهم بدهم ياخدوه على البلد. أوقات بيكون مجوز من different religion. في منهم بدهم يدفنوه بهالطريقة، في منهم يدفنوه بهالطريقة. كتير منيحة. فهذه نقطة كتير مهمة لازم العالم تنتبه لها، خصوصا لما بيكون في different cultures, different countries, different religions.
And also, even in this community, people don't want to be at certain mosques or certain churches, right? Or so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you select an individual who you know.
هيدا شو trust ولا شو هيدا؟
Funeral representative designation. It's called your memorial instructions. بجماعة trust.
هيدا special.
Special. It's a document that it's part of your estate plan.
تمام.
So a lot of people.
But you need to mention to the lawyers that you want to do it.
No. That's actually something that it should be included in the lawyer's initial consultation.
تمام.
So they should be telling you this. Why? Because one of the things that I also do in this form is if, for example, it's a person who has strong religious foundation, and they want to make sure that their religious debts are paid out, right, before any of their family members inherit anything. What I could do is in that document I specify and they say I request, for example, an Islamic burial, and I request that my religious debts be paid out according to Islamic law. So that way, if you owe anything upon your passing, religiously, spiritually wise, you're able to fulfill your requirements and to get that taken out before any of your family receives anything. So this covers, so we try to cover everything for you. And a lot of times here's a problem. And I like how you brought this up about, is it the lawyer's job or is it the client's job to do this? It's the lawyer's job, right? But here's the issue. Sometimes some people go on and use LegalZoom, for example, because they want to save money, so they go online and they use LegalZoom. And there's nothing wrong with that. Problem is they're not going to tell you what you need and all these basic things, and they're not going to have the interaction with you like a lawyer would, or to tell you, look, you need this, or you need to do this, consider this, or at least give you your options. Sometimes, like for example, people come to me with their estate plan from LegalZoom, and then they'll have a trust, and then they won't even have a pour-over will, they have a regular will. I'm like, okay, well, this will isn't really that correct. Or they'll have a trust and a pour-over will, but forget the powers of attorney and forget some of the other documents. And if these aren't explained to them, then they're not going to understand it either. And a lot of times they don't fund their trust either. And this one is very important. Now people are like, what do you mean fund a trust? Yeah, just because you have a trust, it doesn't stop there. You have to go actually put the amlak that you have in the name of the trust. For example, if you have personal bank accounts, but they could cut the personal bank accounts باسم trust. تروح على البنك تعطيهم ورقة called the certificate of trust, which usually comes with your estate planning documents, and that document it's like your proof of trust. It's here's my certificate, put my personal accounts into the name of the trust. That's one thing. So عندك life insurance policy, بتحط اسم trust as the beneficiary of the life insurance policy.
كتير موضوع مهم، مواضيع مهمة، كتير نقطة حساسة، قصة الفينرال وقصة الدونيشن، organ donation. حجي أمل سليمان بتقلنا you need to have an episode on what Islamic jurisprudence say about organ donation. It's a very complicated issue. إن شاء الله very soon. I know there is an organization اسمها ما بديش اقول الاسم، حدا مش مذكر، بس they're doing an event بديربون عشان الاورجان دونيشن نهار الاحد. كان المفروض يطلعوا معنا بحلقه بكره مباشره، بس ما قدرنا لضيق الوقت. بس ان شاء الله we'll make something about organ donation. بس بنحب نذكركم حلو واحد بيحب يتواصل معنا بعد عنا تقريبا شيء 14 minutes للحلقه من ديترويت. اذا بتحبوا تتصلوا رقم التليفون هو 313 769 6666 313 769 6666. ومن وينزل كندا رقم التليفون هو 519-256-1023. رقم التليفونات عم تمرق على الشاشة للي عم يحضرونا على الفيسبوك. تحية لكم، شكرا على سؤالاتكم. أكيد على طول بتغني هودي السؤالات، بتغني البرنامج تبعنا وبتعطينا أوقات برسبكتيف نحن مش بنكون منتبهين له، أو حالات خاصة أو experiences على طول. يعني كل واحد مثل ما عم طول بنقول نحن على طول عنده حالة خاصة، ما في حالة بتشبه الثانية. There is no case that looks like the other case. Let us know one please. Inshallah we'll let you know whenever we do that. Inshallah we'll let you know عشان تكونوا بتعرفوا بهذا الموضوع.
And if she has any questions, just give me a call as well to 313-401-4488.
انت يلا
313-401-4488.
صرت حاضر لتكون راديو هوست يا حميد. اكيد رقم المحامي حميد دكروب، رقم المكتب عندهم هو 313-401-4488 313-401-4488. وما تنسوش العرض الخاص ببرنامج الأخبار اللي هو free consultation و $100 off any of the services. بس قولوا لهم انه انتم سمعتوهم على الراديو على شو الاخبار. حميد بدي اكمل بالنقاط شوي سريعه رح تكون هودي النقاط بس لحتى ان شاء الله بعدين توسع لهم بطريقه اكبر. بس على طول بس واحد يتوفى في السوشيال ميديا اكونتس في الايميل اكونتس هودي شو بيصير فيهم اذا واحد عنده فيسبوك انستغرام او عنده ايميل for example.
Very important. These are known as digital assets. Nowadays a lot of things are online. So here's what I do with my clients.
حتى الاونلاين بانكينج سوري قطعتك.
Exactly. No, please. So what we would do here is in the financial power of attorney, what I would do is I would include a section for digital assets saying that the person that you nominated to be the person in charge of your finances also has the authority to access these accounts. So that way if there's certain brokerage accounts, if there's certain Facebook passwords or Instagram passwords, if for example you didn't select a choice to have like somebody be in charge of it, like a legacy contact that they call it, to be in charge, then the power of attorney will kick in and just say, hey, listen, give us authority to access their accounts so that way we have certain information. And then you'll be able to communicate with them. That's one way to do it. Another way, but to remember the power of attorney, best if you're alive. What happens after you pass away? So what you do is you designate somebody, whether it's your trustee or your fiduciary, somebody in that nature, or the personal representative of your will. They're the ones who will get letters of authority from the court, or if you did a trust and you have no court, then they're the ones who can show their certificate of trust and say that they're the successor trustee and that they can take over and begin to access your information in order to have that for you.
هي كمان هذه نقطة مهمة وهذه كمان تحميهم للعالم من خلال كمان التراست اللي عم تحكي عنه حميد.
Correct. Trust will take care of that.
It's very important. طيب هيدي حكينا عن planning digital legacy وحكينا عن organ donation حكينا عن funeral planning. let's say انت بدك تتبرع مصاري لتشاريتي بدك قسم من املاكك يروح لتشاريتي.
Very good point. You can do this through specific distributions or your residuary, meaning this. If you want to specifically say I want to give $10,000 to so and so organization, you can list that in your estate plan. You can give even that more priority than you give it to the people who are going to take the remaining of your assets.
Hello.
So it depends on how important the asset or the donation is to you. If it's very important and you want it to take before some of your beneficiaries take the remaining, then you want to list it as a specific. If you want it to take with the remaining, you list it with the residuary. Now you might be like, okay, well, what's the difference? The difference is the order. So if your estate doesn't have as much money to cover whatever is remaining, they give money to the first who you specifically mentioned in there. By order.
Hello.
And then whoever you said remaining goes to the person who is remaining.
Wow.
So that's an option. But you know, we discussed that during the consultation anyway.
كتير منيح. النقطة اللي بعدها حميد, let's say إنه أنت عندك trust, but the terms of that trust are disputed. How do you go about it?
Very good point. So the thing that we put is we usually put a no contest clause in the estate planning documents, whether it's a will or a trust. Meaning, if somebody disputes it and there's no cause for the dispute, they lose their share. So that way, because you don't want somebody, you made a trust, you don't want your family to go to court. The whole point is to avoid the court. So if you put your family in court, then you know you better have a really good reason to do so. Now, what are the reasons that people might dispute a trust?
هذه نقطة بدك تسمح لي أنا ترجمها بالعربي لأن نقطة كتير مهمة. أنا عم بسأل حميد إذا let's say واحد عامل تراست هذه بعد وفاته بيصير dispute مش هيك؟ بعد وفاته لهيدا الشخص أو اللي مات حدا من العائلة بيطلع بيقول أنا مش موافق على هيدا التراست هيدا مش مزبوط. فعم بيقول المحامي حميد دكروب إذا ما عندك شو اسمه ريزن قوي كتير لهيدا الوحدة يمكن تخسر الشير تبعك من التراست.
Correct.
تفضل إذا بكمل حميد.
Yes, and no, that's a great point. And also, what happens is now, what are the typical things that people say to, let's just say, sue on behalf of a trust, right? Maybe the person wasn't there mentally. So if they didn't have the capacity, if you felt like that person had Alzheimer's or dementia and they signed a trust and they had no idea what they were signing, then that's ground, right? What if they were forced to do it by force, by pressure?
How do you prove those? How do you prove by pressure? How do you prove?
It's hard to prove. It's hard to prove unless you have the medical documentation. Maybe the person was seeing a doctor, a psych doctor for the past several years, or they had a diagnosis of dementia. And then they did their trust, and the trust is dated, you know, a week before they pass away. This happens. And then
بس ما في HIPAA law. How are you gonna surpass this? ما في HIPAA law, privacy تبع medical records.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, when you go under court, then you would have to request those documents because it becomes part of. Yes, you have to, because it just becomes part of the record of necessity in order to make sure that whether there was some sort of misappropriation or whether there was duress or whether there was an incapacity involved in, doing the estate plan when they weren't supposed to.
كتير منيح. هيدي نقطة كتير مهمة. النقطة اللي بعدها which is أنا بدي أعمل لها حلقة إن شاء الله المرة الجاية بتكون معنا، بس نبلش نحكي فيها هلا بالوقت اللي مسمح لنا. هي what do we do after the death of a family member؟ يعني مات الشخص شو بيجي بعد الموت؟
So, very good point. Now, a lot of people, they choose a trust over a will because they don't want to have to go through the court process.
Okay.
So, whether you have a will or no will, you still end up in court. So, this is very important. Just because you have a will doesn't mean your family's not going to go through court. No. If you have a will and you own things individually, your family will go through court. Now, if you have a trust and you funded the trust properly, your family avoids court. So, they save money of having to hire a lawyer to go to court for them. However, all they have to do is whoever the trustee is in the trust document will be in charge of doing what the trust says. If they need assistance, they can always call an attorney and they can help them through the process. But the good thing is it's all done privately instead of done publicly like a will would be. So it's all done privately and you go through that whole administration process. And we can get into that.
هيدي اوتوماتيكلي حميد يعني بيكون هو اوريدي بالتراست محدد الشخص او شيء، بس الشخص يموت يعني بعد ما ندفنوه يعني بيجتمعوا وبيتقسموا الأملاك based on that.
Of course, they have to based on the trust. And if somebody violates the trust or violates the will, does anything like that, then they can be sued personally. It's not like a little joke. They can actually go after their personal assets.
Hello.
Yeah. This is very important. So, and it happens quite often. So, you want to make sure that you have somebody that you select as trustee that you trust. And you also want to make sure that or somebody you select to handle your will too.
أكيد. تفضلوا معنا اتصال. مين معنا؟
Yes, hi.
يا أهلا وسهلا.
ما عندي سؤال بس البث بتاعكم ضعيف جدا. لا نسمع فيكم.
وين أنت عم تسمعنا؟ منين عم تسمعنا؟
بالسلينج هايتس.
خلص هلا بنقول له نسينا راديو ليش البث ضعيف، تكرم معنا.
شكرا.
فيك تحضرنا على الفيسبوك باي ذا واي اذا بعدك عم تسمعنا بالمناطق اللي فيكوش تسمعونا. الراديو عنده ابس فيكم على الايفون وعلى الاندرويد وعنده على الويب سايت كمان فيكم تحضروها. وكمان نحن طالعين لايف على واتساب ميديا نتورك على الفيسبوك، فيكم تحضرونا وتسمعونا صوت وصوره للحلقه كمان. الحلقه حتى بعد ما تخلص الحلقه بتضليها موجوده على الفيسبوك وبتطلع على الويب سايت وبتطلع على اليوتيوب شانل تبعنا، فعلى طول فيكم تتابعونا بالنسبه لهيدا الموضوع. بس بالنسبه للراديو اتسلف فيكم تحضروا الراديو على الويب سايت تبعهم، على الاب، في عندهم اب وفي اكثر من شغله فيكم تسمعوا الراديو من خلالها. حميد وقتنا وصل لنهايته تقريبا. نعيمه بتقول لك شكرا جزيلا، موضوع مهم وضروري ويحتاج حلقات اكثر. اسم الله عليه حميد على طول معنا، حلقه لا بيكون معنا، فاكيد على طول عم بيعطينا من وقته لحتى to educate the community about such topics، لانه كثير مهمين هودي المواضيع اللي عم يحكي فيها المحامي حميد دكروب. حميد بدي اعطيك انا هودي 2 minutes لك، شو بتحب تقول للعالم؟
بس انه take care of yourself, take care of your family. This isn't nowadays the laws are different. They're not like they were in the countries that we came from. And so if you don't do something on paper, then you're gonna you can go through the consequences, meaning your family is going to have to go through court, unfortunately.
ليك بس إذا بتسمح لي أقطعك هون حميد، it's a blessing أصلاً to have a law، لأنه بتطلع على أهلنا أو العايشين بالبلاد يعني أوقات بتوصل للدم بيناتهم، فاهمين كيف؟ لأنه ما في هالقانون اللي بيطبق. يعني في حكي for example أو بيي قال لي هيدي الأرض لإلك، أو أمي قالت لي هيدي الصيغة لإلك، أو ما بعرف شو، فبتلاقي عيال مختلفة بين بعضها بالبلاد لأنه شو ما في ورقة وما في موثق وما في محامي.
It says it in the Quran though, for example, that anytime you have a bequest you should put it on paper.
أكيد.
Anytime you have those assets.
هيدي أهم شغلة. على طول أنت بحياتك حيلا شغلة عم تعملها، حيلا agreement عم بتفوت فيه، حيلا شغلة على طول حطه على ورقة وحط شهود عليه. تفضل. سوري.
No, not at all. And so حموا حالكم، حموا أولادكم. احموا حالكم أولادكم. So sorry. told you عربي القلب مكسر شوي.
بالعكس you're trying. at least you're trying. إذا بترجع لأول حلقة بلشنا هلا اسم الله عليك.
Thank you. And so كونوا مرتاحين و make sure that you look after your family and that you put everything on paper like you said, because if not then you end up going through court and you don't want to deal with the headache that's involved. And extra money. Sometimes it's worth it to pay a little bit more upfront to save more in the long run.
Save time, save money, save headache. ريح عائلتك، خلي عائلتك يترحموا عليك بلا ما يترحموا عليك. نقطة كتير مهمة. أكيد بدي أتشكرك أنا حميد عطول على حضورك معنا، عطول المعلومات اللي عم تقدمها. بدنا نذكر العالم برقم التليفون عندك هو 313-401-4488 313-401-4488. It doesn't hurt يا جماعة, it doesn't hurt. Give them a call, اشرحوا له حالتكم, احكوا له. حتى أوقات لو عندكم بس شغلة بتملكوها أو هيك, it doesn't hurt to call, لأنه عنده free consultation بيقلكن هل يا ترى لازم تعملوا هالشغلة ما لازم تعملوا هيدي الشغلة, وبيدلكن على الطريق الصح, وهو الشخص الأنسب لحتى يعطيكم المعلومة لحتى يعطيكم النصيحة, لأنه هيدا هو expert بهذا المجال. ما إنه محامي جاي عم بيعمل immigration وعم بيعمل state law وعم بيعمل business law وعم بيعمل لي شميت law معه personal injury. هو محامي مختص بس بالstate planning وبالprobate. فاهمين كيف؟ مش بيقولوا عطوا خبزكم للخباز ولو أكل نصه. حميد ما بياكل نصه يا أخي. حميد بيعطيكم المعلومة. هو شخص موثوق منه, هو شخص محترم عنا بالجالية, شخص شاب طموح, شاب عم بيقدم من وقته ومن معلوماته لحتى يفيد الجالية تبعنا. أنا بدي أتشكرك حميد لوجودك معي بالحلقة اليوم. والله اسمع kind word حميد. This is really who you are. You're giving a service for the community. You are an expert in what you're doing. You're not claiming something that you're not able to do. You are really helping people. And this is one subject that our community needs to learn about. لازم نحن الجالية تبعنا يعرفوا بهيدا الشغلة, لأنه عم تأذي كتير عالم, كتير عالم because ما عندهم هيدا المعلومات, عم بيفوتوا بمشاكل وعم بيفوتوا بمحاكم وعم بيخسروا مصاري وعم بيخسروا أولادهم أوقات. أنا بدي أرجع أذكركم إنه حيلا واحد بيحب يحضر ساكر وفوتبول ويحب يحضر كأس الأمم الأفريقية, في يحضروا على بينك سبورت بالتعليق العربي على سلينك تي في أرابيك. إذا بتحبوا تحصلوا على 7 أيام مشاهدة مجانية, بس تواصلوا معنا ونحن بنعطيكم اللينك, فيكم تحضروا 7 أيام ببلاش. الإدوكير عندهم سمر بروجرام, ميك شور إنه أنتم تحطوا أولادكم بهذا السمر بروجرام. كتير مهم الأولاد ما يعدوا بالصيفية, كتير مهم هودي الأولاد يضلوا عم بيعملوا شغلات خاصة بالمدرسة, لأنه بس يرجعوا على المدرسة ما يكونوا متراجعين مستواهم وتصيروا بدكم ترجعوا تطلطوا على راسكم تقولوا يا ريتنا عملنا. فسجلوا أولادكم بهذا البرنامج, برنامج صيفي عند Educare Student Services. رقم التليفون هو 313-566-3733. بدي لكم بكره عنا شو للدكتور مهازمي الخميس على الساعه 7 بعد الظهر, بس على واتساب ميديا نتورك. رقم التليفون المحامي حميد دكروب هو 313-401-4488. وهيلا واحد بحب يتواصل مع برنامج واتساب شو الأخبار, رقمنا هو 313-258-6799. أنا بدعيكم على طول تدعمونا, على طول تتابعونا, وعلى طول تبعتوا لنا آرائكم ومواضيعكم. إلى اللقاء. ثانك يو كلمة من وراء الكنترول. نتلقى الجمعة الجاية نهار الأربعاء.